In hidden corners of the Shadowfell are nightmare domains that hunger for the brave and the innocent, the ambitious and the wicked. Some call this collection of eerie realms the Land of the Mists, but monster hunters know it as Ravenloft. Terror, magic, mystery, and suspense fill these fractured domains, an infinite gallery of unfolding evils, ages-old plots, cursed bloodlines, legendary monsters, and immortal villains. Greetings, traveler. It's not often we receive visitors from out of the mists, at least not living visitors. We are Vorpal Tales, and we perform terrifying tales and awesome adventures every day of the week, most days twice a day. If it's the dark and macabre that bewitches you, on Sundays we are playing Unknown Armies campaign Burn. And then later on Sundays, our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicles Starlight and Smoke. On Tuesdays, we're playing our Chronicle of Darkness Insurgents. On Thursdays, we're playing our Alien the RPG campaign, Acid and Ice, using the new Colonial Marines Operations Manual. Check it out. On Fridays, prior to this terrifying tale, we are playing our Chronicle of Darkness No Time for Reality. And finally, on Saturdays, we're playing our Simba Room campaign, Heirs to Darkness, over on Free League's Twitch channel, and ending the evening back on our Twitch, playing Necrobiotic in support of the new Kickstarter. If it's the adventurous and fantastic that enchants you, we cannot guarantee the mists will release you back to those realms. But should you escape their cold grasp, on Mondays, we're playing our Dune campaign, Houses of the Lands Red. On Tuesdays, Exalted Essence in support of the new Kickstarter on the Onyx Path Twitch channel, and on Wednesdays, Fallout, Radioactive Summers. We would like to invite you into our manor, mortaltales.com, where you can see our complete calendar, see recaps of shows, and get the links to our past archive of YouTube. You will also find links to all of our social media there and our Patreon. Be sure to click follow on Twitch if you ever want to escape back to your home, and then inspect our YouTube archives in the mausoleum at youtube.com/c/vorpaltales. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell while you visit to appease the damned. Special thanks to Astral Tabletop, which we use for our virtual gaming space, to Nate Mid for our custom Astral Tabletop character sheets, and to Ghost Stories Incorporated, Me, You, and Darren Curtis music for some of the awesome songs gracing your ears during this tale. Links to those things will appear shortly. Haunted Heroes, please regale our dinner guests with your name and what tormented soul you'll be portraying in this sinister tale.
Yes, my name is Dwayne, at Maid of Kimchi, on the internet. Tonight I will be playing Penitent Cleric, Jaglin.
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and tonight I shall be playing our Hexblood, once elf, Eldarin elf, who is now stuck in Autumn Phase, because that is the time that they were cursed. Tav, who is also they, them, and we'll find out how that goes.
Hello, everybody. I am joking. My blood yak is attacking me currently. Really thirsting that quench. Okay, that's a Fallout reference for those not following Fallout game. Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Steve. You can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade, and tonight I will be playing Virik Wagner, our occult detective.
Hey everyone, my name is Akima. You can find me on the interwebs at Kima_Mia. Tonight I'll be playing Calamina Sore, our aberrant mind sorcerer, who is also a Kalishtar.
Hey, my name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere. And tonight I will be playing the tortured Dampier monster scourge Inquisitor, Claudia.
Hello, I am Patrick. You can find me on the internet at pattyshakes_. And tonight I'll be playing the new Reborn race with our Vocal Tales teaser new class, the Elementalist.
Excellent.
Oh, and my character's name is Rigzukos.
And I am Eldritch Echoes Online. Available for a discount at most websites. And now it seems the storm is abated. Thus, our adventurers may venture out into the darkness once more. So, let's talk about Ravenloft.
Well, before we talk about Ravenloft, I'd like to thank Tactical Side Boob for subscribing, following, yes. What? There's 3 O's.
Nope, that's not what was funny. What was funny was
My
that
face.
everything just closed on me. Hold on.
The random Star Trek sound.
Yeah, I was say.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird too.
Who's watching Star Trek on the side monitor?
Sorry, I'm doing research for Thursdays. Sorry, guys.
Okay. I've heard it a couple times. I don't know where that's coming from. It sounds a lot like my J Job's ticketing system, but it's closed and I'm not producing. It's very weird. All right, moving on. So, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, the reason we're doing this show. First off, I'll say it's an awesome book. If I had to pick one thing I like the most about it, more than one thing, check out the podcast when it hits a store near you on our YouTube site in a couple weeks.
Oh man.
However, if I had to pick one thing right now, it would be the fact that it's a sandbox book. It is designed to teach you how to do all of this yourself. It goes very light on the explanations and very heavy on the here's how you do your own. Also, though, it's very pretty. And it has texture. You can actually feel the ravens, which is pretty cool.
Ooh, texture.
Yes. If you don't have a copy, I recommend getting one because it's pretty dope. If you want the PDF, though, you'll have to get it on D&D Beyond because they have no actual PDF this time. So let's talk about what it means to be a haunted hero in Ravenloft. Ravenloft encourages your group to safely explore the thrill of ghost stories, mysteries, and all other terrifying tales. While every book always talks about how the DM can make something work, this book actually talks about how the players can make something work. So, what does a horror adventure or campaign mean? Patrick,
Yes.
what does that mean to you?
A horror adventure campaign.
Mm-hmm. As our master of D&D and your 2 great horror stories you've done for us, what's it mean from the player's point of view? I'll specify.
Well, it means that you can try to assume that the checkpoint, the arc, the story boss is, of course, some kind of hideous evil, but you'll never be too sure what kind of hideous evil it is. Just taking our last Scarlands campaign, I took them the route of, oh, this is a murder mystery. And while yes, there was murders and there was mystery, there was a secret hag slug-like creature underneath the sewers birthing horrible, horrible clones. So, you feed them this breadcrumb trail of, oh, it's this kind of horror game, and then wham, sock in the face. It's actually much, much worse than you thought it was.
Excellent. Also, from the player's point of view, it means a few things. One, atmosphere. Make sure you have a good atmosphere for a creepy game for the next 6 sessions, and then for those carrying through for the next 15 or whatever we're doing in the fall, because you won't be able to get into it as much if your atmosphere isn't creepy. 2, limited comedy. Can't cut out comedy because we're Vorpal Tales. Funny shit's gonna happen. There should be less of it in the horror game. 3, remember flags. Player characters' fears aren't necessarily the same as yours. If you don't like something that's happening, stop the scene, please. No questions will be asked. And 4,
There it is. It happened again.
Star Trek is happening again. And 4, add to your own terror. Feel free to make it more horrible for yourself. Okay, let's talk about lineages. In the lands of the mists, power and dread lie in one question: what happened to you? So, this is kind of a new concept for 5e. I've seen a lot of homebrew for it, but I haven't seen it a lot in their actual campaign books, where you have a lineage, which is different than a subrace. because a lineage can go with any primary race, not just the one it's tied to. Pathfinder uses it all the time. It's a pretty dope idea. I dig it. So let's talk about your races and lineages. In your normal talking order, tell us what your main race is, and then what your sub-race or lineage is, and if it's unique to our upcoming book, or if it's unique to the Ravenloft book, or neither.
What am I doing again?
Your race and your lineage.
Who made you?
Who made me? So, my race for my cleric is I'm gonna butcher this name. Zavalene?
Yep.
Where'd that come from, Dwayne?
That came from our new supplement that will be coming out within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And that is a wear-touched individual. Let me get my notes on that one for her real quick.
You don't have to read through everything, and none of you do. Just give us a quick synopsis on what it is. You don't have to read all the mechanics.
So pretty much, I am. I have a limited, without looking at it directly, I have a limited, excuse me, strain of the lycanthrope disease. To where I'm not like a full werewolf, and actually I'm not even a werewolf at all. I have taken the were-rat. Yeah, the sub part of that. So at different times I do have the ability to change into a giant rat. However, I don't believe that I can pass on the disease like other lycanthrope can.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yours is not a curse. Yours is in the blood.
Yes, in the blood. More like I said, more of a disease. But it can still be cured through the same ways as the normal lycanthrope.
Only one of the same ways.
Only one.
A remove curse spell can take care of lycanthropy. It cannot take care of you. The only way you can be normal is through a wish spell.
Who's next?
That would be me. So, my character started off as a Eladrin elf, which for anyone who doesn't know, I didn't know. But when I learned about the concept, I thought it was really freaking cool. They change with the seasons. They are elves who cycle through a state of being. And mine became a hexblood in the autumn season. The spooky times. And the hexblood is how do I they kind of not are taken under the wing of, but I guess kind of cursed by the hags that are in the Ravenloft universe. So that comes with a whole another set of gifts, and they are a warlock with the Starlight patron, which hexblood, if I recall correctly, is not a Vorpal Tales creation.
Correct, that comes from the Domains of Dread book.
However, Starlight patron...
That part we don't talk about yet, though. Just the hexblood for now, even though I know you're excited.
I don't know, what else can I say about the hexblood? I'm not so familiar with the Ravenloft universe, so...
Well, I think we should specify, like, you're not like a full hag, like you're not out here trying to steal babies so you can eat them. You're just kind of like got some creepy like fae like stuff. You're not like evil and striking up bargains and trying to make, covens and things like that.
I just got powers.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're even necessarily like born from a hag. Could have been a curse. Could have been a random. Could have been your genetics. Could have been you're a changeling and were switched at birth by a fae. Lots of different ways they say it could happen in the book. And to the audience, unfortunately, no, you cannot boost character creation. And regular boost will be different in this game too, because you can't make a horror game easy. What fun is that?
No, Tony has increased my primary stat to 22. It's clearly
And I turn it right back down to 20.
And I'm just going to get on my alt Twitch account and bump you down to like 16 just for fun.
Get on one of my 4, Patty. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
That would be me. Varric is a half-elf. As far as I'm aware, just a half-elf. I'm not aware of a lineage that I have specifically, so unless you want me to talk about my archetype...
Nope, not yet.
All right, then...
I always like to rely on Steve to be the thing that people would call boring or plain, because he makes it interesting.
I love...
I did the finger quotes.
Right, no, I appreciate that, because yes, I very much... I love playing humans in D&D. Like, I really do. So, alright.
So Calamina is actually an aberrant mind sorcerer. Would you like me to talk a little bit about that, Tyler?
Nope, just the race and your lineage sub-race.
All right, so she's just a Kalishtar. And basically, these are beings, humans, that in some time in their lives or in their ancestors' lives have been basically somehow came into contact with a renegade spirit from the plane of dreams. So that's who I'll be playing for this series.
Excellent. And an Eberron 3.5 Kalishtar, well, D&D 3.5 Kalishtar was my favorite race. Psionic races are the best.
Spooky
Who's next?
mind powers.
Exactly.
That would be me. I was a human, and then someone I loved was destroyed by a vampire, and I fought the vampire, and it changed me. So now I am Dampire. Dampier? Yes, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Dampir.
So these are demi-humans who have some of the same powers as a vampire, and some of the same requirements. I have to feed off psychic energy. That's me.
Leaves you, Patty.
I am Reborn, which is one of the new ones from Van Richten's as well. I don't know. I took just the lineage. You can play Reborn a couple different ways. You can have like a previous race you were. But the way I'm doing it is I have no memories, no knowledge, nothing of my life prior to waking up in a very large library with a circle of flame on the floor and one word in my mind, Rigzukos, which is the name I took. Basically, you can kind of play it as I see this race being very useful lineage for being very useful for things like you have a PC that dies and you want to bring them back in a non-traditional way. You can make them reborn, and they can come back that way because it's very open-ended. The different ways reborn can be used, and then just some kind of cool things about reborns. I am still a humanoid, but I have undead-like qualities. So I have advantage on death saving throws. I don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. I don't need to sleep. I can't be put to sleep magically. In fact, I cannot sleep. Like, when I'm long resting, the rest of you will be sleeping and doing whatever it is you do. I will just be sitting there, conscious, thinking. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them.
Excellent. Next, for the fans of Ravenloft, we're going to talk about some fun things. Dark bargains. In the new Ravenloft book, they have rules for granting powers from the dark powers to players at character creation. Basically, the dark powers influence many who struggle within Ravenloft, tempting both the innocent and the ambitious with whispered promises. These sinister bargains are rarely spoken, coming in dreams or mysterious visions, but the terms are always clear, and the price is always terrible. So, It's a supernatural gift that expresses both a mysterious power and an insidious influence, a boon and a curse. There are many ways you can get one. It doesn't mean you're falling to the dark powers. Could be a family curse. Could be a reward for something you did at a forgotten shrine. Could be a bargain you made to save yourself or someone you loved. Or it could be you just wanted power and you're turning evil. We're not going to spoil things until they come out dramatically in the show, but we can go around and you can say whether or not you have one, starting with whoever was first.
That would be me.
You have a dark power. Have you bargained with Ravenloft?
I do. Not out of choice. Or out of need. And I'm going to leave it at that.
What about Tav?
Tav has, in fact, agreed for a dark power.
What about Virik? That's you, Steve.
Yeah? What about it?
Do
Vidik.
you have one?
Vidik.
Just answered.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. What's it to you?
What about Akima? Calamina? Too close. Cross the streams.
My mic was muted. Calamina does not.
Calamina is less painted then. What about Claudia?
Yes, Claudia has made a dark bargain.
And Rigzukos?
Of course.
How
You
do
don't
think I
you don't
came
become
back?
you don't become reborn without making a dark bargain.
Now we can talk about the fun part. There are only 2 new subclasses in Ravenloft. College of Spirits for the Bard, and the Undead Patron for the Warlock, which I would like to point out because people ask me about that. That does not mean you worship, like, the power of death and you're becoming a lich. It specifically means that your patron is one of the undead Dark Lords of Ravenloft, Aslan the Lich, Strahd, whoever. That is very specific, which is kind of a cool idea. So, now you can talk about your class and your subclass briefly, and you can say where it came from. If it came from our new supplement that's coming out, or not, in your normal order.
So, as I am a cleric, I have taken the Penitent Domain, which is also something that will be coming out in the new supplement put out by Vorpal Tales. It comes with a new range of domain spells. I will save those all for later. But the main concept behind the Penitent Cleric is using your body to benefit others. For example, my first level spell is Purification through Pain. I can sacrifice my own hit points to heal others. And it just gets even more crazy as the levels go on. Pretty much sacrificing your essence to either sanctify others, blessing them, lesser restoration, all of those. I can sacrifice hit points, hit die. And that's about the general idea of it.
This was Steve's idea, and then I kind of helped make rules for it. I'm very happy with how that one came out. I think it's pretty well done. I'm excited for you to play it and see how it works, in an actual game.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right, everyone, now's your chance.
Yay! So I decided to go against my normal choices of Ranger and Druid because I like to challenge myself, and if I totally fail at it, I will beg and plead for God to kill my character off and start over again? ? But anyway, so yeah, Warlock, and they are, where'd it go? Starlight. Their patron is starlight. So it sounds pretty, but it actually is kind of Cthulhu-y.
The light from foreign stars is cold and harsh and travels through the void of space, which is dark and full of terror. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I get some nifty spells from it. I get cantrips like Starburst, which is I can cause a mote of starlight to appear at a point I can see within 60 feet, and the mote explodes a moment later, doing 1d8 radiant damage to any creature in the mote's 5-foot space. A successful charisma saving throw negates the damage. I'm not going to read it all to you, but there's a level 1 spell called Twilight's Embrace, North Star, and I'm not gonna... Oh, okay, no, I will say this one, because it's gonna make everybody nervous. Level 2 spell called Become Void.
Enough said.
Good place to stop. Yep.
I guess that goes to me. So I am playing. Base class is a rogue, but I will be playing our new archetype or subclass of Occult Detective. The Occult Detective is all about destroying the creatures of the night or the horrors. They use their investigation skills to go into cities and discover different undead or primarily focused on undead. Gain knowledge of undead creatures, learn vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and exploit them. Combination of both for myself and giving bonuses to the players based on my investigation and sneak attack. So I'm a detective.
So Calamina will actually be a sorcerer as base class, but she is what I call a spooky tentacle sorcerer. She's an aberrant mind sorcerer, and basically this influence from completely other world has wrapped its tentacles and its basically itself around her brain, giving her psionic powers. So she's able to communicate telepathically with people and also use these spooky dark tentacles to attack her foes and cause other unspeakable horrors as well.
You're gonna get along great with Ever's character.
Oh yeah, I hope.
So that brings it to me. I am playing, this is one of ours. It is a monster scourge. People keep telling me that I'm Simon Belmont, even though I actually have not interacted with that IP much. So I'm like, okay, I'm Simon Belmont. My powers are really cool. I can do really awful things to undead with whips. And I can summon up spectral darts. I am your best friend in a dungeon because I don't get lost. Oh, and I have both vampires and lycanthropes as my nemesis, and I can make sneak attack damage as a rogue with the whip. It's gross.
So, before you go, Patty, I'll point out, because the audience will be amused by this, and those of you in the game who don't know, Sean said we got to have a full base class based on Castlevania. Then Sean didn't have time to do it. So I said, okay. Pulled up Castlevania, the original, on an emulator, played it, and just copied the powers down, right up to including when you throw the Holy Cross and it explodes all over this. Yeah. It's just the video game powers, and it's amazing. You're all going to love it.
So, building off the whole Castlevania thing, Sean said, well, we got to have Simon Belmont. And I went, no, you're wrong. We got to have Sypha. So
I would agree more with you, yes.
I made an Elementalist class where your subclass is you choose one of the major elemental planes, so earth, air, fire, water, and then you gain abilities based off of that plane, as well as the two minor planes that border it, which are ice, magma, ash, and ooze. So for me, I am playing the Earth Elemental Plane, which means I get ooze and magma as well. And we're introducing a new magic type system called mana points, where you can your powers allow you to either spend the mana point, which you have to wait until you rest to get back, or for usually weaker abilities, you can invest them, meaning you kind of like in a storyteller game, you can momentarily not have that mana available to you, but then when you're done using the power, have it come back. I put a lot of love into this one, a lot of this is like kind of my baby, so I'm excited to see how this class goes. Yeah, and if you really like it, you please get our supplement when it comes out, because I will have it even more fleshed out by then, and it's going to be pretty cool, I think.
I concur. It's a pretty badass class he created. Reminiscent of Pathfinder's Kineticist, but still very different, so that's good. After class, the next thing that comes in character creation, or actually usually before, is your backgrounds. I'm not going to have everyone go through and list those, because you should be able to talk about that in role play form during play, because some of your backstories hinge on those. You might not want everyone to know. But we will touch on the fact that we didn't create any for our book yet, but they do have new ones in Ravenloft, and they also have modular background abilities. So you can pick a base background, but that special power your background gives you is swapped out for one of these. One of our players, at least one of our players, has one of those, for instance. You can find those in the book, and those are pretty neat. However, we're going to skip over that to retain the mystery. But you all do need horror trinkets. That is a feature of Ravenloft. Return to Castle Ravenloft. Most of its iterations, including the 5e one, where every character starts out with a little memento or trinket to connect you to your backstory. Yours aren't coming from your normal sources. They're coming from this cool Ravenloft chart. So I'm going to have you each roll twice and take the one that you think fits you best. So Dwayne, roll D100 twice.
Oh, God. Where's my... There it is. That's a 40... Wait, that's not the right one. That's a... Yeah, that's right. What is that? I'm looking at my kanji ones. I'm like,
I was about to tell the audience, bear with Dwayne. He's looking at his kanji dice, and the symbols sometimes bleed into the ink.
Dude, it's so... Like, what is that number? That's oh no, 54 is the first one. There we go.
54 is a mason jar containing a harmless but agitated tiny little ooze.
And then that's a 28.
28 is a ring of keys. You have no idea what locks they open.
I take the keys.
The first one was like reborn baby Otto.
I was thinking the same thing. I will die for this ooze.
Ever, you're next.
Okay.
Also, I'm told we do have backgrounds in our book, so we'll check those out too when we actually do a podcast on the book in the future.
70.
70 is a plague doctor's mask. Ever's like, nope, I'm good. I'm stopping there.
I am tempted. I wish to see what is else in store. 27.
27. This dice made from the knuckles of a notorious charlatan. Literal knuckle bones.
Oh, jeez.
Decisions.
Both appropriately creepy for your very creepy character.
I think I'll go with... Oh, shit. Fuck. Damn it. Ugh. Real life me wants those dice, though.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, let's go with the dice.
Excellent. Steve.
D100 coming right up. Here we go. 4.
4. A spinning top carved with 4 faces. Happy, sad, wrath, and dead. Roll again, see what your second choice is.
54.
54.
That's the jar.
That's the ooze.
Oh, I'll take the top.
Nakima.
All right.
The ooze is still in play.
D100 coming up. Got a 96.
96 is a ceramic figure of a cat. A cat with way too many eyes.
We roll one more time. I got a 19.
19. A noose that's really heavy. That's weird.
I think I'm gonna go with the cat, the ceramic cat with too many eyes.
I love the cat so much.
That's awesome.
It fits too.
Yes. Rachel.
Hey. I got a 1.
1. Excellent. A picture you drew as a child of your imaginary friend.
Oh. Okay. Type it into Astral again. 47.
47, almost a 54. A tiny spool of black thread that never runs out.
Oh, man. I'm gonna go with the thread, I think.
That could actually be useful in a dungeon. And last but not least, somebody who ran away from us.
He had to go get dice.
Oh, all right,
back.
Patty, your
I'm
turn.
back. No worries. All right. I got 29.
All right, 29.
You better get a 54.
It's nails from the coffin of a murderer.
Okay. All right. 96.
I think we got a 96, but I don't know if anyone took it. Yeah, that one's taken. Try again.
Okay.
Akima got that one.
17.
17. A little black book. It records your dreams and are yours alone without you doing it while you sleep.
Can I roll again? Because it's impossible for me to sleep or dream.
Yes.
Okay.
What luck.
76.
76.
I
don't immediately know what that word means.
I think the dream journal for someone who can't sleep would be hilarious because it would still get filled in and just be like, what
But it wouldn't though, because I can't.
You can daydream though, right?
right? Like you just be walking around looking at the journal, just like I didn't dream that.
A Lepidopterus box filled with dead moths with skull patterns on the wings.
What is a Lepidopterus box?
I assume
A person who collects dead moths, I
I
guess.
assume it's the box you use to display dead butterflies and moths. That's called
Sounds cool, though. I
That's
wanna
called
be one.
context clues, gentlemen.
I just want to
Shut
go
the
around
hell
telling people.
up.
I mean,
Look, I
it's
just want to
also
go to
called
parties
having
and be like, "What do you do?"
English degree,
I'm a
knowing what words
Lepidopterist.
mean.
Sorry, Rachel. What?
Nothing. I'm just teasing.
Oh,
Rachel's making fun of the fact I'm dumb.
you know what, Patty? We picked on
No,
you.
I'm
You can have
actually
the baby
more making
ooze.
fun of Steve.
Okay, I'll take the baby ooze.
Okay. Patty gets the baby ooze.
And it's always irritated, right?
Yes. Because it's in a jar.
So
Okay.
I just picture it getting angry if you bump the jar and it goes, "Ah!" And bubbles like in Ghostbusters when they have the like ooze stuff. That'd be great.
Oh, that's Ghostbusters too. Oh yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next, we're going to touch on genres of horror that affect Ravenloft. Also, Rachel and I were talking about in the podcast, a lot of this is usable outside of the Ravenloft book. There's a lot of useful info in here for any horror game. And Dwayne, he was there too. Sorry.
Yeah, for like 4 seconds.
That's true. You did crash and burn. I forgot. And we're going to touch on the themes simply because this campaign has you hopping domains. For the audience, we're going to run the first part of the campaign on this day for a couple months. And then there'll be a short break, and it will move to Thursdays to be completed from October all the way through the end of the year. So in total, this will cover a variety of characters for about 20 weeks. So, body horror. Body horror examines the universal fear of your own failing anatomy, not necessarily just exploding bits out of you, although that is part of it. We rarely think about what goes on beneath our skin. We understand it's all there and working the way it should, but what if it doesn't? So, physical transformations are common, aberrant or excessive growths, gore, chest bursters, what was it in Cthulhu doing? Little baby worm spiders.
Yeah, worm
Cthulhu
spiders.
game. This is all body horror. However, if we touch on this, we will, of course, be sure to avoid portraying disability as monstrous, because that's a bad trope. Not the same thing as an infection. Okay. Next, cosmic horror. Purple Tales probably doesn't really need to explain to anyone what that is, but we will anyways. Cosmic horror revolves around the fear of personal insignificance. The genre is predicated on the idea of entities so vast and beyond comprehension we cannot fathom their simplest motivations. To see them is to become lost in their magnitude, and the evidence that we have never, will never, and could never matter to the cosmos at large. Also, as Steve and I like to say, it's a genre where you can't possibly describe what you're seeing, but you can try real hard anyways. Next up, we have dark fantasy. Is as much a genre of fantasy as it is horror. Generally, any tale featuring both supernatural elements and horror themes could fall into the category. Whether it's a fantasy story steeped in horror elements, like Patty's recent Bayou horror short story in Scarred Lands, or a specific world that is based on supernatural terror like Simba Room that we'll be delving into tomorrow on the show. It refers to fantasy worlds where grim themes, nihilistic plots, or horrifying elements inform the fantasy tale. Evil dominates, with depravity being commonplace and life holding little value. Next up, we have folk horror. Folk horror adventures, as Steve and I are well aware, involve a dude getting drugged and put in a bear suit. Folk horror adventures involve traditions, beliefs, and perceptions that are passed down through generations and take terrifying twists. Also, Steve. Oh my God, naked white people. For those who ascribe to hidden traditions, Steve, sacrifices to strange gods or placations to lurking monsters are everyday events. For outsiders, though, these practices reveal the subjectivity of normalcy, societal truth, and taboos. Folk horror explores fears of isolation, superstition, paranoia, and lost truth. Seemingly idyllic communities, rural reclusiveness, forgotten traditions, and naturalistic cults all frequently feature in folk horror adventures. Gonna have to give some context to that story for the audience now. So, Steve, Sean, and somebody else, Mike, maybe? We're just Steve and Sean.
It was just us, yes.
Yeah. Went to see
Hereditary.
Not Hereditary in the theater, and
God.
there's a scene at the end, spoilers for those who don't know, for a really old movie. There's a scene at the end and towards the end where they crawl up in the creepy attic, and there's just like cultists standing there in a circle, not moving, completely naked, and they're all like old, wrinkly, and everything's hanging everywhere. And this is a somewhat rowdy audience, but it goes dead quiet. Somebody in the back of the theater just yells, "Oh my God, naked white people!" and broke the whole theater.
The whole theater. Yeah. I saw Hereditary in a packed theater on a Tuesday afternoon. It was the weirdest experience, and then that happened, and that was the funnest thing. Yeah.
Hereditary is one of my favorite horror movies, but it makes me physically ill. It's great.
It should.
Yeah.
It did its job. From the same person as our other joke about drugged guy in a bear suit. That is Midsummer, for those curious.
He's coming
Alright.
out with a new movie soon.
Yes, he
Excited.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Next is ghost stories, which, of course, everyone's aware of a ghost story. This is a psychological horror genre. Only through revealing tales of tragedy and past wrongs can the heroes truly bring peace to forces that share their suffering with the living. This, of course, deals with natures of the soul, death, and all those weighty things people don't like thinking about. Also, all the cool haunting mechanics. Last but not least, Gothic horror. Gothic horror is about the terror within. It shatters the illusion of humanity in poignant ways by holding a mirror up and saying, look at what we really are, and look at what we pretend to be. Under that mask of civility, there is depravity. Under that thin veneer of society, there is wickedness. Under all the trappings of sophistication, are we not all predators or prey? The World and Chronicles of Darkness. There are, of course, other genres of horror. We won't go into details about them, but you may run into disaster horror, occult detective stories, at least for one session because Steve's here, psychological horror, which is not the same as cosmic horror, slasher horror, I think that's the last one, all of which are covered quite thoroughly in the book. Oops. Wrong document.
So
Okay.
So you can just be strolling around Ravenloft, go into a new town, and just find like a slasher scenario.
That's what we're going to touch on next.
Oh,
Let's talk about Ravenloft, especially since some of you have played Ravenloft with me before. Most of you haven't. I don't know how many of you have actually even played true Ravenloft, not just Barovia. Leaving the confines of the domain. How does that work? So Ravenloft is not a coherent world like most D&D worlds. Ravenloft is a collection of sub-pocket dimensions in the plane of shadows, in the Shadowfell. So each one is isolated unto itself, and each one is separated from the others by the mists. You can't just walk from one to the other. It's never that simple. Also, a domain in Ravenloft, as I was explaining to people earlier, is not necessarily a coherent, even piece of land. Most of them are. In some domains, there's a traveling carnival, there's a ghost train, there's the gem at the tip of a sentient sword, there's a poor woman's nightmares. Domain can be anything that is the trap for the Dark Lord stuck in it forever in the cycle. Most of them, though, are pieces of land surrounded by the mists. All of you are going to be native to Ravenloft. What does that mean? Most beings in Ravenloft are sentient constructs. Think of them like Hollow Legionnaires, sort of, or Warforged, maybe. They're people with flesh and blood. They're alive, their heart beats. They have conscious decisions, they feel emotions, but they don't have souls. They are put there and crafted there by the dark powers that have created the realm to trap the Dark Lord. Adventurers from Ravenloft are those chosen few, those rare few that actually have a soul. It's usually not such a great thing because usually it's tied to something. There's a reason their soul's floating around Ravenloft. They're usually reincarnations of some Dark Lord's Torment, even if it's not in that Dark Lord's domain. But having a soul makes you more than the common folk. You question things. The common folk will never say, what happens if I walk through the mist? The common folk would say, why would I leave? Everything I need is right here. Plus, fuck the mist. If you see what's in there, I'm not going in there. What's wrong with you? You would get up and go, I'm gonna walk into the mist because I want to see what the hell's going on. Is this really all there is to the world? That's the difference between you and everyone you grew up with and everyone around you. Also, there are very few of you. It's unlikely you ever met another person like you until many years, decades later. Traveling through the mist isn't just as simple as leaving either. Dark Lord can seal the borders of their domain. The mists will fill in, and no matter how far you wander into them, you'll always end up right back in the domain, and usually it populates the mist with something terrible related to the curse of the Dark Lord. Poison, monsters, acid rain, whatever. It's really bad. Even if the borders aren't closed, the mist You can't just walk from Barovia to the north and end up in Borca. That might be where north goes today. The next time you're in Barovia, exiting the mist to the north might take you to Lamortia, because they're not physically connected. The mists, the Dark Lords, take you where they want you to go. The way around that is with mist trinkets or mist travelers, those rare few that can navigate the mists with purpose, like the Vistani, or certain superheroes with souls. Rudolph Van Richten, the Foxgrove Weathermay twins, characters that are signature to Ravenloft. Or a little trinket that's somehow tied to a domain. So for Strahd, for instance, it could be a piece of Tatiana's dress, or an invitation to the castle that when you take it into the mist delivers you to where the trinket wants you to go. So travel's going to be weird. Within the domain, like I said, the people accept that this is how it is. They don't question things. Even if it becomes obvious that Dark Lord's goddamn were rat, they're all going to be like, oh, that's not a were rat. That's just the lady who lives at the manor at the end of the street. What's wrong with you? There are some things you can never convince them of, and it's very hard to win in a Ravenloft scenario by convincing the people to rise up, because they won't. It's always you against the Dark Lord. And usually the people will turn on you if you piss the Dark Lord off. Other things you will know, but your characters won't. Players will, but characters won't. Dark Lords can sense anyone going in and out of the domain, and can track you as if using a scrying spell at any point, just with their brains. They know when new people come in, they know when people try to leave. They know who you are. Some of them can read your minds, some can't. They all have absolute control in their realm, and killing them doesn't break the realm apart. They'll just come back a day later, a week later, a month later. In the original version of Ravenloft, there were two modules. There was Castle Ravenloft, and then there was House on Griffin Hill. In Castle Ravenloft, the heroes storm the castle and kill Strahd. Strahd reincarnates in Griffin Hill outside of the village of Barovia in the mountains in an old manor house. There's no memory that he was ever a vampire. He's just Strahd von Zarevich the Noble, wondering what happened to his family and why his castle's empty, with amnesia. And the whole module's about you visiting him in the manor and discovering that no matter what you do, he's destined to regain his memories and become Strahd again. That's how it works. You can never truly win. You can have Pyrrhic victories. So it's less about killing Dark Lords and more about saving people. Especially if they're important people that you can't let the Dark Lords get their hands on. Or in the case of our campaign, removing dangerous objects from the realms so that evil Dark Lords can't get a hold of them and become even worse. Questions on any of that so far? Next thing to keep in mind is Dark Lords aren't always obvious. They're not always the person in charge or the person with the biggest fuck-off sword or the 20th level wizard. Some of them are just 3rd level commoners, or were-rats, or mad inventors that have a few levels of artificer that are very easy to kill, but not so easy to defeat. Never assume the Dark Lord's the guy in charge or the one trying to stab you. Never assume they're even human. That gem on the tip of the sentient sword is the Dark Lord. A living sword so evil, it became a Dark Lord. Everyone who's played with me before there was Vorpal Tales remembers Odier, the domain of evil Pinocchio, the Dark Lord. See, there's the faces.
That wasn't even scary. That was just annoying.
I loved it though.
I was frustrated. It's like, I know what I gotta do, but it keeps getting out of my grasp, and I'm just like, it didn't scare me. It just pissed me off. but Tyler did excellent storytelling for that, by the way. So can't be mad at Tyler.
That scenario is one long chain of almost but not quite getting there.
Yeah.
There are potentially an infinite number of domains, but not really. And we're obviously not going to visit them all. For those curious who followed Ravenloft for a very long time, they actually retained all of the domains except the ones that are tied to worlds that have not been republished in 5e yet. Those still exist, but in a weird way. So like Sithicus, for instance, is there but not there. There is a domain that's like a black hole sucking in all the failed domains as chunks of land flying through space. And That's where Sithicus is, and the Dark Sun Domain, and a couple others. But all the classics are there. The book goes into detail about all the really big ones, and then has short entries about the smaller ones, for those curious. Two other things common to a Ravenloft campaign: spirit boards, Taroka decks. Well, it's called the Taroka deck in Ravenloft, Tarot decks. The back of the book, for those of you that have access to it in D&D Beyond, has a gorgeous printable spirit board layout you can use. Always close your spirit boards, kids. But we will, if we use one, we'll be emulating it Seance style with Earthy Kansas.
Is there any other way to do it?
However, look at that. Look how pretty that is.
Ah.
Yeah, I want that etched into some maple. The Ravenloft Tarot deck exists and can be purchased. I have a cool supplement from Drive-Thru RPG that we did not write that gives special powers for a Taroka reading, where you're gonna roll and draw your own cards, and they're gonna give you powers you can use and then turn into cards to get new ones. That's how we're going to use the Tarot deck. So as I told you offline, if you have playing cards or a Tarot deck and like to hold something to represent your stuff, it's a cool way to do it. Now let's talk about the things that make Ravenloft dangerous: curses, horror, fear, and madness. The 5e book does touch on horror, fear, and madness, but I'm not using those rules because they're too player focused. So we're gonna get dangerous. The way the book recommends doing it is kind of neat, though.
Who's gonna do it before he goes on? Who's gonna do it?
Let's get dangerous.
Da-da-da.
I was trying not to.
Yeah!
You had an opportunity. I even paused for it. The book does it a nifty way for 5e, which is every character rolls for something or picks something that they fear that triggers them. And when you get the trigger, you have a minor mechanical side effects. And you get a special reward if you face and overcome the fear in the form of inspiration. But we're actually going to use fear, horror, and madness checks, because this is a somewhat mythos-themed story. Who's surprised? Raise your hand. Shocking. So we need madness checks for sure. First, we'll talk about fear checks and horror checks. Essentially, all three are wisdom checks. So, Dwayne, you've got the edge.
Me too.
In some instances, though, I will be kind to your class and let you roll your primary ability score modifier if the thing you're doing uses your class specifically. Because they're always doing wisdom. And I don't have time to create a whole new mechanic. Fear checks are shock, panic, and terror.
We know what you do have time for, Tyler.
What's that?
To thank Tabletop Anthologies for rating us with a party of 6.
Hey.
They have crossed through the mists.
Alpha Wolf Zero, that's a cool name. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Enjoy the darkness with us. So, fear checks, or shock, panic, and terror checks, are when you feel physically threatened in a combat situation. This doesn't mean some dude's trying to stab you. This means something terrible that is outclassing you obviously is attacking you. You are adventurers. Just getting attacked in the street is not going to make you panic. The DC is 5 plus hit dice of the creature. If you fail, you're frightened for 10 rounds. You can attempt a new save at the end of each turn. Typical 5e. Which brings up a new point. In Ravenloft, you're not immune to anything. There are no immunities. If you have an immunity from a power or ability, I have a version of it that is not immunity, but it still gives you a boost. Resistances and bonuses only. You can never be immune to anything in Ravenloft. It's part of the horror. No, I know we don't have any in this party, but all you paladins out there, you still got to make that fear check.
Just to clarify for both Patty and myself as a half-elf, does that include the being put to sleep and charmed?
Same
That means
here.
that means I have a version that can put you into a trance because you can't sleep. And yes, you can be charmed. You're just wildly resistant.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I have a question as well because I have an immunity.
2?
Yes. I am immune to any spell or effect that would alter my form because I...
Resistant.
Okay.
So the way it'll work is you will have advantage on the roll, and you will get a bonus to the save equal to your proficiency modifier.
Hey.
So the odds of failing are low, but still exist. So basically, you'll roll 1d20 plus 4 twice. Take the better. 1d20 plus normal bonus plus 4 twice. It's unlikely it'll happen, but still the tension is there that it could. This also includes things, I don't think we have any in the party, like disease and poison. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Oh, you mean you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just wildly resistant to everything.
Yep, same thing. Horror checks. Oh, I should also say a fear check. When you successfully make a fear check against something, you never have to make a fear check against that thing again. Also, for some things, I'll just only make you do it once, especially if you're never going to run into it again. Horror checks are typically prompted by the unusual, unique things. So, like, it's up to me what I think is a horror check versus a fear check, but, like, horrible scenes of violence or torture, people you care about being attacked or hurt, extreme risk or hazard, really, really dark, nasty magic you've never seen before, that sort of thing is just what separates fear from horror. The conditions involved, I have a chart. I'm not going to read it to everyone, but basically it depends on the severity. Anything from aversion all the way up to frozen in place and nauseous for a couple minutes. They're all conditions: frightened, startled, stunned, exhaustion, basically shaken. And again, it's the same save. It's wisdom, and it's a DC equal to the severity of the effect, ranging from 8 to 30. You're not going to get any 30s, don't worry. The people playing in the fall, though, we're going to be like level 15. You are. And last but not least, madness. Madness checks will only happen when you run into Mythos stuff, just like if it was called Cthulhu game. Mythos creatures, Mythos objects, especially if you delve into them, which you're going to have to solve the mystery, to solve the problem. And much like a Cthulhu game, you'll get a reward for digging too deep also. And every time you fail a madness check, you will gain permanently stacking bonus to any religion, arcana, or history checks to roll for knowing Mythos things. We're not making a new skill for Mythos things. We're just going to use arcana, history, or religion as is appropriate to your character. Questions on any of those three things?
Not at the moment, but I'm sure once we get into the rolls. But but it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. We're a few minutes early, but that was it for prep, so I think this is a good... Oh no, we'll do one other thing, because some of your gear is not coming from me. So we should do gear I told you you'd get that I was making you wait for.
Here we go.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Give me that gear.
Dwayne and Steven.
This will tell me what prop I'm buying.
You both can own guns, and you start with guns. However, neither of you can have any armor above leather, because it doesn't exist in your domain. Steel armor, we have guns. The hell's the point of that?
To stop the bullets.
You
can have studded leather. You can't have anything above. You can't have anything above light.
Okay. I mean, I'm a rogue anyway.
That you can get it later, Dwayne. You're just not starting with it.
Okay.
You can buy it as soon as you get into a domain that has it.
Okay.
What's the AC for studded leather again? Is it 13?
2? Yeah, 13.
13 plus dex?
Plus dex.
No,
Yep.
studded leather is 12.
Oh, is it 12?
Even less. Awesome.
Base, no armor is 10. Leather armor is 11. Studded leather is 12.
Now, Dwayne, Steve has stats for the guns we'll be using. He can send them to you. It's basically a D10 for damage. It has a reload quality.
My
He's got
AC
it,
just
though.
went from 18 down to 12.
Love it.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yep, Rachel. If it's in the D&D book and it's armor or weapons, you can have it. Because you come from a fantasy domain. Same for you, Ever. If you're capable of wearing it or wielding it, you can have it.
What?
So for you, Ever, it's actually not so good. You can only wear light armor anyways, but you can have the normal crossbow and short sword of the Warlock. Start. And then Rachel, you can have whatever your class gave you.
Cool.
Akima! Oh, we didn't assign you a domain because I didn't make it to when your character was done. Oh, nope. I know where you should be from with your character. I don't know how that's going to work for gear. So with your character, the only logical choice is you somehow escape from Bluetspur.
Okay.
Imagine this, Akima. Imagine a place where the dark powers trapped an elder brain because they found an elder brain that was so evil, even though their mind flayers thought it was evil, and they gave it its own domain.
Oh, damn.
Even its own kind said nope.
Very nice.
Time to get out of Dodge.
So the only way you're from that domain is you were taken, you were mentally compelled and controlled. Maybe they even hollowed your brain out and replaced it with sonic slime. Who knows? They're weird. And you did whatever they bid you to do until you figured out how to escape, you and maybe some handful with you. Probably only you actually made it out because escapees are rare.
Okay.
Which means gear-wise, you put like leather armor or hide and like a dagger because you got out with nothing.
Well, that's gonna get removed right now.
Don't worry, there'll be the chances for more later, though.
All right.
And Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So Saragne is supposed to be like late Renaissance because it's like the Bayou, but like I don't like so most domains have a time period next to them, like age of humanity. That one never really has, except in some non-official canon sources. So it's supposed to be the deep backwoods bayou if Nolans never existed and there was never any technology.
Okay.
So you also can have firearms, but you can also have any kind of armor you want, because both exist in a weird juxtaposition there. Basically anything's open to you as well, plus firearms.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm saying that domain wrong. How would you say that? It's a French word. Terrain?
Yeah, Serene.
Okay.
Or I guess it'd be more like Surain.
Surain. I didn't miss anyone for weapons and armor, did I? No. Also, you
Thanks for the follow, aye preacher.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Also, you will all have... You ready?
Oh, we should also shout out that name that was super dope. Alpha Wolf Zero actually followed as well. So thank you.
I missed that one too.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Alpha Wolf
you.
Zero. And also, because you're level 10, you all have... where is it? There it is. You all have... Oh, right. I had to subtract the treasure you're going to get from that. So, about 3,000 gold each in spendable currency.
3,000.
Well, theoretically, you should have somewhere around 60 to 70 gold, 1,000 gold worth of stuff by the time you're level 10. But that would normally include magic items and holdings. You're going to have some dope-ass magic items, but you still have a bunch of cash. You've been around. It's up to you to decide what form it comes in. Maybe it's a handful of diamonds that you snuck out with you, Akima. Maybe for you, Rachel, it's a bunch of rubies you took from a vampire's lair. It's not going to be gold pieces. It's going to be something tradable or that has value. Maybe, Patty, you have land that feeds you money.
Oh boy.
So we don't have.
How much money was that again?
But it is 3,000 gold pieces worth of spendable currency. When we deal with merchants, you will pretend you have coins, but you're really trading what you have that has value for purchases. Mechanically, it's just cash. Fluff, it's something of value.
Got
For
it.
you, Steve,
Oh,
it can
I
be
know what- I
probably
know.
some rare minerals from the mines. Yeah.
Well.
If you have a better idea, do that.
I had a noir idea.
Let's hear it. Or send it to me if you want it to be private.
Oh no. Definitely bonds that I took from from an office at one of the mines. So I've got like illicitly obtained bearer bonds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ooh.
For you, Dwayne, it probably comes in the form of really expensive silks or something,
Yeah.
or really expensive wine you carry around.
I'm sure that I have a couple of other strange things that I've gotten along the way.
You're carrying around 3,000 gold worth of wine?
He's from D&D France.
I am from D&D France.
I mean, it depends on the wine. Maybe it's only two
Well, I mean,
bottles.
Yeah, it could be like
but,
2 bottles, really.
Exactly.
Or give him a bag
Like-
of holding. He's good.
$2 chuck it is not.
It is not wine in a box.
I love
But on that note, we're done with prep, so we should take our 10-minute break so that we can play.
All right.
So don't go anywhere, audience. We'll be back at 38 past the hour, or perhaps a minute or two sooner if we're all ready. We will begin the story. And we have returned. And I forgot to warn you, Steve. We went back to a quiet song. Sorry. We have returned from our break. And now we're going to delve into the story and introduce the characters. Also, thank you for the follow, Digital Draco. You took us to 500.
What?
Oh, he runs a changeling game that I play in. Thank you, Draco. I owe you a beer.
Or 500 beers.
Oh, God.
Ooh, no.
Maybe like 5 beers.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay. So, we're going to get into your characters and introduce you. So, we're going to go over your domains and we're going to go through the questions in the book and I'm going to have you answer them and then I'm going to have you answer a final question each. And we're going to go in the normal order. So, we're going to begin with Jeglin. Is that how you want that pronounced?
Yes, and I have changed my name
Two?
because I realized that because of my ancestry, we tend to be named with our pacts, and because of where I am from, I am now known as Jeglin of Naz.
Really tempted to put no schnoz, but I'm not gonna. Okay. Jeglin. Rishmulo, domain of disease, isolation, and were-rats. Dark Lord, Jacqueline Renoir. So, answer these questions for us. How do you avoid the gnawing plague?
It's funny you should ask that.
Almost like you were prepared.
Strangely enough, plague doesn't tend to bother me so much. Although
Because
the
you're a rat.
possibly
No, stop.
just being a were-rat does not keep me totally safe from the plague itself, as I can only speak with rats when I am in my rat form.
So when you're not, how do you stay safe? Do you keep stockpiles of food for lockdowns? Do you rob your neighbors or rely on kindness?
I do not rob my neighbors, and I neither rely on kindness. I seek refuge in the small, very, very small, not even a full church, or just like a building of the followers of Ezra.
Ah, with other acolytes, I see. Are you a survivor of the gnawing plague?
I am. When I was young, whether this had anything to do with my blood or not, I did become very sick with, I do believe I wrote down, it was the second stage
Okay, that makes sense.
of the
That's
plague. Yeah.
as far as you can get without doom.
Yeah. And it was actually one of the acolytes of Ezra that had healed me, leading into my trauma survivor background power.
So then I don't need to ask how it changed your destiny. It set your background and it made you a cleric of Ezra.
Yes.
Excellent. So then why have you fled into the mists? Why were you forced out, chased out, or chose to run away from Rishmulo?
Well,
Be
one
any
thing,
reason you want, but it needs to be something dramatic and negative. It'll be the same for all of you. Obviously, Akima, yours is easy.
for most of those that live, what is it? Oh yeah, Rishmulo. For those that live in Rishmulo, many of them don't know that Mademoiselle Renoir is the actual. What is it? There, she's the domain.
Dark Lord, yeah.
Dark Lord, yeah.
She's just a noble person, yep.
But the followers of Ezra do.
Yes.
To most of the people, she just stands as the makeshift warden of the realm, since the royal family was not murdered, was killed by the plague. But knowing this, I do not hold anything against her, because I understand that it is the way of the world. However, being an acolyte of Ezra, I am to go out and search for evil and put it down. My homeland will be the last one that I cleanse.
Excellent. When you chose to leave, a new acolyte you had never seen before, a stranger to the monastery, probably from another town in the same domain. You know, you don't know everyone. It's a big land, snicker. Told you if you were going to head out into the world that you should take some protection, and left you with actual metallic version of your holy symbol, not just wood like the one you've been carrying around. Some provisions of some exotic foods you've never tasted before.
Mm-hmm.
And a strange coin. You couldn't tell if it's silver or just silver-colored metal. Doesn't bite like silver. And it didn't have any effect on you, so probably not. He said the word, but you'd never heard it before. Neagle? I don't know. And the face stamped on it is one you don't recognize. Desiccated, diseased-looking individual with a crown. Said you'll need this before you headed into the mists.
Interesting.
Next we have Tav. Tepished. Domain of nature's cruel secrets. Mother Lorinda is the Dark Lord. Tav, what do you love about Tepished? Is it the peaceful life, the bounty of nature, your family, the endless colorful festivals?
I love the I don't quite remember. The mist happened. It took me away.
How do you feel about Mother?
Mother. Who is Mother?
Mother is the one thing you would remember. Mother is goddess, protector, the deity you worship.
Oh yes, the mother.
You have both of your eyes. Or did you sacrifice one to become one of Mother's minders?
Oh no, I used both my eyes, but the mother gave us the stars, and I worship the stars.
Yes, and Mother, whether you remember it or not, made you Hexblood. And for when your memories return, think about who you lost to the tithe. A parent, a sibling, a friend, a partner.
Tithe.
Did you accept it? Or do you want revenge? When your memories return, be ready to answer those questions.
Oh, tithe like the ocean, right?
Tithe. The sacrifice to Mother. She must
Oh.
be fed in blood.
The sacrifice of the ocean of blood. Yes, I remember.
And why did you leave?
I did not have a choice. The mist has come and taken so many, but I did not die. So that is
You did
good.
not.
Yes.
Yes, and you have this strange metal coin with a desiccated man with a crown on it. That's weird.
Wonder if I could sell it.
Coin, perhaps you could simply spend it.
I could spend it.
Find my own order.
Virik.
Who is after Ever?
Virik.
That would be Virik. So, talk to us, Virik, about Lamordia, the domain of snow and stitched flesh, home of Victor Mordenheim, key of not Frankenstein. Where and how were you raised? Were you a whaler, clerk, or factory owner in Ludendorff? Were you a miner, prospector in Nerfurtenberg? How did your family survive?
Families survived as one of the ones lucky enough to be sort of like clerk to the owner of a factory. So got by, in the grand scheme of life in Lamordia, the easiest you possibly could.
Excellent. What's your relationship with Ludendorff University? Were you educated there? Have you used tools created by its scientists? Were you hired to participate in someone's experiment? Did you sell them the flesh rights to your body like so many do?
Ooh, I had not thought about that specific thing, but I did not study at Ludendorff. I did not take that particular type of education. My education came outside of school. However, upon joining the occupation that I did, I will say that all conscripts to the local constable sacrifices their flesh upon death.
Yes.
So
lastly,
we'll have a
go ahead.
RoboCop. I can have a RoboCop situation here.
How has the land scarred you? Have you suffered from frostbite? Do chemical or radiation burns scar you? Did you sell something for coin? Did someone steal an organ while you were sleeping? It's a fun domain.
It's a very fun domain. No one has stolen my organs or body parts. However, he would have a random collection of like a toe that doesn't quite move at its full demeanor. Nothing outrageous, but yeah, the
Things
telltale
don't work right.
yeah, the telltale signs of life in Lemortia: small amounts of frostbite and a smattering of chemical burns from his time shaking down workers.
Why did you flee?
What I saw in the mines that day.
That's enough for me. The rest of you will have to find that out. What you saw in the mines that day, you did leave with something, though. A strange metal bar. Not quite black, not quite gray. Somewhere in between. It's almost like the color shifts, and it's like the voices of your dead relatives whisper to you from it when you sleep. You entered the mists with it.
Oh my.
Kima. Wow. Calamina. Fluidspur. Domain of alien memories. Godbrain of Fluidspur is its dark lord. So, how did you escape?
It was difficult, to say the least. With a group of others, we were able to break free of the control of the mind flayers and leave into the mist.
Now, your domain works a little different than others in that instead of a bunch of questions, there's rollable charts for evidence of what happened to you, because most of it you won't remember.
Oh,
So, first roll me a d6.
got plenty of those. Got a 6.
Okay. One of the few memories you've unsuppressed is a figure hovering before you is deemed acceptable. They're lowered into a pool where they're covered by pale slug-like beings. You float forward watching, feeling jealous. Why were you deemed unacceptable?
Calamina would probably have been deemed unacceptable. Maybe because the alien creature that has already attached itself to her brain, the tentacles that she constantly feels but no one can see.
And lastly, rainbow storms assail the heights of a mountain so tall it seems to curve over you. You're floating over a red wasteland, just one in a line of floating beings. What are you floating towards? What do you see? Make it weird.
Ooh. She's floating towards a deep and dark whirlpool, just constantly circulating in the middle of the sky. Through it, there's probably tentacles of different shapes and sizes reaching out towards her, wanting to suck her in.
When you escaped, you had a few random things with you. You don't even know which one's special, so I'm not going to point it out. You'll find out later. When you came to outside of the domain, when the mist deposited you, you had a bag full of random stuff, and you recognize most of it. Alien tools. Okay. Claudia. Darkon.
Yeah.
Currently no Dark Lord. And on the brink of failing. So, what part of Darkon are you from? The Jagged Coast, the decadent lands of Rexcrown, the Mistlands? Were you raised in a community where you were the majority people? Or are you a minority?
I'm human, and I'm pretty sure humans are humaning everywhere. As far as where I'm from, this character got her start and she tangled with a vampire, and so for me that says decadent.
Excellent. How has your life been affected by the Shroud? Was your home consumed by it? Have your family members vanished? Or do you think it's just a delusion of superstitious? The Shroud, did you read up on the domain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think what's going on with her, because she has the soul that was discussed earlier, like she's looking around and she's like, there is quite clearly a crisis going on here. Probably disrupted her community very much. And she's really the only person who's like wants to acknowledge that there's a problem, whereas everyone else around her is just trying to carry on.
Excellent. And how does your community prevent the dead from rising?
Oh, immediate cremation.
Burnings, yes. Definitely not a taboo in your community. And why did you flee? Actually, no, I apologize. Why did you move from Martira Bay all the way down to stalling?
The decadent lands.
Why did you leave the decadent lands of Martira Bay all the way down to... Where did I put you?
So...
Where I put Rivalis, the city of Rivalis.
Okay. So she, for all its flaws, this was her home community. And then someone she loved, probably, maybe the only person who could see the world the way that she could, like, yes, this is also quite clearly a crisis. So a vampire killed her beloved, turned her into a Dampier. She decided to go get revenge on that vampire. And there was, she was extremely excessive about all the torture that she did on, the vampire's thralls, tell me what your master is. Made dark bargains to get the power to fight vampires and to learn how. And she, after all the dark stuff that she did to get revenge, she cannot look her family or the people that she grew up with in the eye anymore.
That makes sense. And last but not least, Rigzukos.
Yes.
It's Rain. Dark Lord Anton Mizroy. The Swamp. How did you survive? Were you just a fisher, tooling through the bayou? Are you a farmer in a patch of ground you wish was dry? Or did you work, or were you even yourself, one of the elite voodoo priests or priestesses?
Of that, I cannot ever be sure. I woke up with nary a memory. The large house I was in, though, would lend itself to believe I was one of the upper class, one of the wealthy.
How do you fare with the alligators? Have you lost family and friends to them? Have you had to fight them? Have they left indelible scars on you? Never-ending hordes of alligators.
There are markings on my body of death and wounds, but none of the jaw of an alligator.
Have you ever been affected, or anyone you loved ever been affected by The dead that rise at night in the swamps, the waterlogged corpses.
I fear that I might be one of them.
Fascinating. And why did you flee?
I was forced out, as is tradition in my realm. And the fact that there are only 2 laws, one of them being when a body has departed, is not to be touched for 4 days. On the 3rd day, my body rose, but not of the accord of the Lord of the Dead, but rather whatever power it was that brought me back. This was seen as an act against the Lord of the Dead, and therefore I was driven away to the mists.
Excellent. Switching music, Steve. The mist deposits you all, no matter when you left or what time of day it was. You're all deposited at the same place at the same time of day. To a place you've never been, because when you look up into the sky, the moon doesn't look the same. The colors and craters are wrong. It's bigger. Also, there's this weird golden star just hanging there that makes you feel bad. And it's not quite dusk, but you can tell dusk is approaching. And you've been deposited by the mist directly in front of the gates to a manor house. And you can actually see activity through the gates. They're not reacting to any of you, but there are servants and such bustling and scurrying everywhere, calling out to each other, "We must hurry, it will be dark soon," as twilight approaches. Claudia, the mist deposited you here as well when you were trying to get to where you were going, and you had to enter the misty border between the parts of Darkon. You all literally almost simultaneously step out of the mist to this, all alongside each other, all in a neat row.
Who are you other bodies of flesh?
So what would I know a little bit more about the mists than most people?
First, that's a possibility, but first, let's do descriptions. In your normal announcement order, describe what everyone else sees.
Ah, yes. Jeglin. Even though he is a were-touched individual, he was originally a gnome. So he's very short. About 3'5". He has very pale skin, but he has patches of hair every so often, some on his knuckles. You can see some, coming up his neck. He has nice, dull blue hair with a ponytail. He has glistening black eyes set buried in their sockets. He does have that cool scar running from the right side of his forehead all the way down to his upper lip, but it goes around his eye. So it's not that cool scar that everyone's like, oh, it goes through your eye. No, it goes around, as if something grabbed him.
He's got the Tom Berenger.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it goes all the way down to his upper lip. Yes. And again, he is a devotee of Ezra. Given his, even though he is a gnome, he does tend to stand a little bit higher than other gnomes. It's probably due to his wear touch, a little bit bulkier. Somewhere around 114 pounds, which is big for 3'5". And he's wearing red vestments. with now, because I had chainmail, but now he has a studded leather armor over top. He's wearing the necklace of the longsword over a shield, the symbol of Ezra. He is carrying a shield and a morning star. However, when you get a good look at him, because sometimes he has his cloak up, his red cloak up, sometimes he has it down. But even when he does have it up, you can see just that little hint, his snout. His face isn't like a normal humanoid at all. He has a snout-like protrusion. It's like that little bit of wear just is always there.
Yeah.
So, you see Tav is kind of a typical elf. The pointy ears and the very lithe, slender, and they are. This is not normal for an elf. They are unusually pale, like if you were to put the mist inside of a flesh suit, that's probably the color that they would be. Their eyes are fully blacked out, and their lips look like kind of like they were a bit frostbitten, or maybe like they're necrotic in some way. They don't smell like a dead thing, but they look like they could be. All in black, and wearing kind of like this head decoration of what used to be autumn foliage, but is now just silver. And they have, I haven't decided on the hair yet. Maybe I'll just keep it like this. The short, and we will pretend that my hair is black. So, maybe with a couple silver strands going through, but not like they're getting old silver, like almost as if someone put silver threads in their hair. And I think that about covers it for Tav.
Varric.
Varric comes in, he is a half-elf, but actually cuts his hair very much short like a human would, and has it kind of like draped over out of his face. And he comes in and he has these deep, sharp eyes that just look at everything. He just looks like he's scanning everything around him at all times. Wears mostly dark clothes, but you can tell that like his demeanor, everything about him is meant to mostly not stand out. He has dark but not like outrageous, like out of place clothing, and something around his neck that you can see can kind of quickly kind of be like draped over his head, in case he wants to cover up his hair or head. He stands, his physique is somewhere between like affluent but also works every day, so he's not quite the body of like a laborer, who has that sort of like specific build, but also not someone who just kind of lays around. So he's kind of right in the middle of that. Again, very default almost. Not quite, can't quite place him.
Calamina.
Calamina stands before you as she exits the mist, her silver eyes and silver hair wide and disheveled. She stands pretty tall, about 5'10", and for the most part has the very similar physique as any other human that you might see. But her eyes, her cheekbones, her nose her face and her other features are very sharply angular. Her ears are pointed. Although she does not necessarily look like an elf, you can tell that there's something unhuman or otherworldly about her. She wears what maybe a few years ago would have been soft blue robes, but now kind of hang off of her frame as dull and tattered clothing, almost like a shift. It's tied around her waist with other snippets of fabric. And you notice on the back of her head, although there's nothing there, the silver hair there is tinged with red, and the skin looks slightly raw as if she was clawing at it. And that's her.
Excellent. Claudia.
Sure. Claudia is a human woman, so average height, so 5 foot some inches. And she is dressed like she knows what she's doing. So her leather armor is just a thick leather duster that she wears, and she is strapped with like all manner of monster gear. So she's got like a couple stakes, the wooden kind, not the meat kind. She's got a flask of holy water. She's got some torches. There's like a hammer and a crowbar sticking out of like a loop on some part of her coat. Looks like she made it herself. Big wide-brimmed hat. She's got an eye patch, so she's been through some stuff. In the eye that she still has, you can see like around the pupil there's a little bit of red, and when she opens her mouth to talk, like her teeth are a little sharper than they should be. She's pale-ish, and if you do pay really close attention to her, she's not breathing.
Minor details.
Yeah.
Rigzukos.
Upon looking at Rigzukos, you can't quite tell. When he was alive the first time, he's probably either an elf or a human or somewhere in between. He wears a long black cloak that covers his entire body, but the outlines and detailing are like a sky blue. He's got black leather knee-high boots and a purple scarf tightly around his neck that's wrapped around like several times. All over the bits of it, only the bits of flesh you can see are kind of like his hands and then his face, which are kind of like this grayish color. They're covered in, large gashes, wounds, even looks to be like skin grafts in some places that are all kind of sickeningly fresh. His tightly cropped black hair is permanently combed across, and it looks like the wind, no elements ever seem to disturb it. He has a green leaf laurel crown in his head, and there are spots in it that are very clearly missing a couple leaves. His eyes are just kind of striking ghostly yellow. He never seems to blink either. And in contrast to Claudia, he very clearly has no weapons, no armor on him.
Excellent. You all look at each other, and whatever the first thing you say is, you will all reflexively say in your native tongue. And that, except for Calamina, which you would speak Aklo, which is what we're calling the language of mind flayers. So you all look at each other, and the range of accents and dialects is amazing. Then you can all fall back to Rovian or Common. Everyone in Ravenloft just seems to somehow know Barovian.
I look around, and Claudia definitely catches Viric's eye right away, and he just kind of raises his eyebrow, just kind of like, good setup. Kind of eyes the bag with the hammer and the stakes and everything. Used those before? You're muted.
Muted.
I
No? Come again? Sorry?
qu'est-ce que fuck?
The map we just switched to is what you see before you, the top part, where you're at the very edge of the wall there, where the red line is at the south. The manor house is in the center.
This is
Quite a large piece of property.
an interesting way to travel. Do all of you make a habit of this?
First time.
Yeah. Yes, I always travel by the mist.
Ah, yes. Now is the time to discuss player boosts, or audience boosts. When the audience boosts you, because this is not regular D&D, it is not advantage. It's merely a +2 to your roll.
Oh.
They get to help you. Not as much as in a normal. I say merely to set the mood.
What happens when the
please.
audience boosts you?
Then I unlock one of my special array of powers I have for certain monsters. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Oh no.
This is garbage.
Some of the monsters have a secondary power array I labeled as boosted, specifically for that.
I look around and I can see that we've all
Thanks,
stepped out of the
Tony.
mist. Stepping into the mist is like a big deal, right?
Yes, and when you leave here to go somewhere else, I will describe it in full. But yeah,
Like,
leaving Serene would have been moving through thick bog water, almost like quicksand. It would have been cold and yet super humid. Bugs swarming everywhere. Can't see anything except fog. Hands grasping at you out of the water.
and am I
You
to
don't always
assume-
go where you want to either.
I was gonna say you
Yeah.
don't always go where you want to, and people don't come out of the mist sometimes, right?
Often. And then for you, Varric, it would have been
Virik.
just ice, cold, and snow. Like wandering into super foggy tundra. Very unnerving. For Calamina, it would have been stumbling across endless miles of alien landscape with impossible geometry where the angles themselves cut and slash you. Almost like the hedge in a changeling game. For Tav, it would have been stumbling blindly through a forest, being chased and hounded by Unshi Fae, left and right, calling and cackling and grabbing you and trying to enchant you along the way.
It's very invigorating.
For Jeglin, yeah, chased into the mist by swarms of rats that only get bigger once you're in it.
Yeah.
And then noxious clouds that actually physically sicken you as you move through it. That's what it was like, yeah.
Now, please, since we are all new here, please share with me your true names.
No, but you can call me Claudia.
Oh. Well, hello, Claudia.
Hold on. Before we start introducing each other, I think I need to get a little bit of information here. You all just came out of the mist.
Yes, so
That-
did
So
you.
did you.
Just as you have.
Correct. Right. But I'm asking the question here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us out of the mist at the same time.
Why are the questions more important than mine?
Because I'm asking them.
Claudia,
Why are you more important?
you have Arcana.
I believe I do.
Roll it.
Trying to find my way around here.
Kitty.
Thank you, Spank, my Betty.
Uh, 16.
16. Yes, what do you want to know about the mist when you said you suspect you know more than most people?
Okay, Like, how normal is a situation like this? Like
A
whole
bunch of
people-
strangers landing next to you, that's never happened to you before. However, your travel
Okay.
through the mist was surprisingly uncomplicated. You've moved between cities before in your realm. It's normally a lot more stabbing zombies and skeletons. It was just
Okay.
quiet. It was just a quiet blind walk this time.
Okay.
However, you have heard of such things happening, and like you immediately know none of these people are from your homeland. You know there are other places.
Okay. Cool. Hey, none of you are from around here. Wait, am I from around here? I don't think I am.
You don't recognize this particular place, but you recognize the waters of the Sea of Sorrows. That's the same. It smells the same. The dirt and grass are the same. You're in your domain.
Okay. You're all not from here.
Aw.
I'm from the. Where am I from again?
Hebished.
So, see, when I was young, the mist took me far away, but I'm originally from West.
I would say welcome to Darkon, but it's kind of miserable here.
That's alright, it's miserable everywhere here.
It's probably better than where I've come from. I'm from Blitzburg.
I've never heard of. Have I heard of this?
Nope, never heard of that.
I never heard of that.
Mind flayers is all she
Never
said.
heard of that either.
What is this?
Sounds terrible though. Why would they flay your mind?
It sounds painful, like you fly a fish. Are you a fish?
No, I might as well have been though.
Oh, I'm very
I
sorry
probably-
to hear that. I hope you return to the ocean soon.
Thank you.
Claudia. Dark is quickly approaching. You have maybe a half hour. You know what that means in Darkon.
I suggest we all get on indoors before the vampires come. Like now. I'm going to go indoors right now. You can follow if you want, but I do not want to be vampire food.
Vampire.
That you know what that is.
I
Except
know.
your brain translates that to, Strigoi.
Strigoi. Strigoi. Okay, yes, let's go inside.
But you have all of those weapons.
Yes, and I'm still going inside.
So, you, Mr. Question Man, can stay out here, and we'll go inside, and you can stay out here and fend off the vampires if you so wish.
So the manor, does it look like what passes for welcoming in Darkon?
It does, in fact, look like what passes for welcoming in the non-city parts of Darkon, which means to the rest of you, it looks fucking terrifying. The land around it, the trees are all... The leaves have mostly fallen off already, and the trees are skeletal, and it's like grasping bony, scratchy hands, and they're all weeping willows, because of course they are. And the grass is the kind that, like, comes up to here, so like when it waves, you can't see what's in front of you, even though there's a cut path. There are ravens everywhere. Wolves have howled at least twice since you've been talking. And the house itself is straight up Victorian manor house. Black tiles, gray ceiling, cupola, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, these look like friendly people. They will probably let us stay.
Are they though? Do you see any people? I don't see any people.
You actually do see servants running around like, oh god,
I
we gotta
see
get
some
inside.
people running around. The mists, they muddle the mind. Sometimes, where did I put that frog?
So yeah, I'm just gonna walk to the front door, be like, hey, it's almost nightfall. Can we crash with you so we don't get eaten, please?
So you walk up to the front door, and it's got a gargoyle knocker. Of course it does. And it has carved script over the top, which only those of you who speak Darkanese can read. Which is the next thing we have to deal with. You all get 2 languages outside of your normal picks that are specific to domains to read and write. There is a universal common, but sometimes it's useful to know what they're whispering behind your back and what's written down. So you all get your own domain in addition to 2 more. I will give you the list, but you won't know which ones you may or may not visit. Here is your available list of domains that you can know languages from.
Okay.
Barovian, well, that's common, so that doesn't count. Borkin,
Borkin.
yep. Darkanese,
My dog speaks Borkin.
Darkanese, French.
Oh, I like how it's
Occult-
just French. Okay.
Well, it's either that or Dementliuian, Falkovnian, Onctinonian, that's essentially ancient Egyptian, Haslic, Mandarin, Calicarian, Bardican, Lamordian, the Queen's British, Russian, or Cyrillic, Valachian, Gastrian,
Is that the language of the stomach?
Markovian, no, Novavasan, and Zerisian.
So many.
Yeah, that's not even all the domains, just the ones that have unique languages.
I
Um,
have no
so-
You
idea.
can
All
also
right,
randomly roll if you don't want to pick.
I'm about to
your
say,
Yeah,
how
you know
many
what?
are there?
How many
How many are there?
Roll a die.
own. Roll a d20.
Well,
What?
I have a question I'll ask because I might actually pick
Okay.
one. Is there one that would be the most relevant for somebody who does a lot of like independent academic study?
Yes, French.
That would be the one that most like
Most
scholarly
of
stuff
the-
is written in?
Correct.
Okay, I'll take that.
I rolled a 4 and a 9.
4. 4 is your own domain. Let's try that one again.
What luck?
9 is Mandarin,
6.
and 6 is Falkoptian.
Which one has the most to do with
Falkovian?
undead specifically?
Darkonian. Where you're at right now.
And I speak that. All right.
2 and 17.
All right, 2 is Borkin.
How you spell that?
Borcan.
Damn it.
Spank my Betty. I'm using real world analogs for some of the domains that actually are analogs of real world places, and that's Ikith, which the Dark Lord is Xianshang, and it is Chinese. And your other one is Novavasan, which is Nova space Vaasan.
Badass. All right.
Got a 3 and a 13.
3 is Darkonian. Your numbers are slightly different because I'm taking your own out of it.
Oh, okay.
13, so we don't have another Rachel. 13 is French.
That is mine.
I know. Try again. There's 2 domains that speak that.
Oh, okay. 10.
10. Cardican.
Who?
All Cartican, all K's. Like it sounds with K's. Alright, so that leaves Calamina and Tav.
I got 15 and 7.
7 for you is Ancient Egyptian. It's actually going to be useful. And 15, you said. Valachan.
And could you repeat the language from my domain, my original domain, once more?
Yes. I just lost it. Help me out, Dwayne. It's the Pathfinder one. Aklo, A-K-L-O.
Yeah.
Aklo.
A-K-L-O.
Got it.
And everyone speaks Barovian.
Yes. Right, Tav.
What is my native language again?
Cyrillic.
Oh, I speak Russian.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I did the accent. I knew that. Okay. Rolled an 18.
18. Markovian. M-A-R-K-O-V-I-A-N, like Markov Ian.
That sounds familiar.
You've been there in other Ravenloft games with me.
Excellent. And what are you? Oh, you're a 20.
Oh,
That's something
all
interesting.
right. Zerisian. Z-H-E-R-I-S-I-A-N. You
Interesting.
got some exotic ones.
What,
right.
So, like, what are they? What's their equivalent? If they have an equivalent.
Zerisian is very Indian. I guess I'd say southern India probably for the dialect is most appropriate. And then Markovian is essentially harsh German.
So
You'd be able to. So yeah, that's very similar to what Vieric speaks. You could communicate and get basic points across.
okay, cool.
It's like speaking different versions of German from different eras. Okay. So you knock on the door knocker, I assume, Claudia.
So what is it? You said there was writing above? What does
Oh
it
yes,
say?
that's why we did this. The writing says House of Lament.
Oh,
Seems like a nice
Yes.
place.
seems like a nice place.
Nice
Don't do
vacation
anything
home.
lamentable.
Nope, I apologize. I'm crossing the streams again because I was looking at something. It says Bleak House. Even better, right?
Better.
Even
That
better.
helps.
Better.
So since I do also speak Dark
You can read it, and it says Bleak House. It's a named house.
Hunter,
I give name.
Claudia,
Yes.
you're sure about this place?
Eh. At least they name things as they are. It's accurate.
No surprises. That's all I could ask
Also-
for.
Bleak House, eaten by vampires. Bleak House, eaten by vampires.
Can fight a vampire, can't fight bleakness.
Sure you can. With lots of rum.
And the starlight. Absorb
Wrong.
the starlight, and soon the stars will be speaking to you.
Claudia turns around and just like clang, clang, clang with the knocker.
I feel like everyone just side eyes Tav on that last bit as the doors getting.
Oh, that is a big knocker.
Okay, nothing happens for a minute. So unless you tell me otherwise, you get impatient and knock again. From inside, you hear a voice with a thick Darkovnian accent. Coming, I'm coming. Gods damn, you're so impatient. How did you not have entrance to the back door anyways? You're all servants. And then opens the door mid-sentence and is like, oh. And the person standing before you is a 6 foot tall, lithe, svelte woman, probably in her early 30s. Very attractive, very in shape. Rich dark brown skin, afro blowout hairstyle, wearing a red and black cloak that's part cloak, part poofy Renaissance era shirt, and part leather tunic, breeches, and well-used boots with just an array of knives around her waist. Who the hell are you?
Oh, you are. They have so many knives.
Thank you. You should have more. Who the hell are you?
Good evening. Ma'am, my name is Claudia. We
Claudia.
have just come from the mists, and it is, we got caught out by sunset, and are hoping to partake of hospitality. You can pay. I can pay. I don't know about them.
Claudia. What are the rest of your names? Quick, tell me. Names.
Dav.
I am Cheglin.
Every name you say, her eyes get wider.
Calamina.
Are you mute? Speak to the other two.
I think I will call you Jiggly.
Looks at Rigzukos and Varric.
You said that her eyes noticeably get wider as we hear the names.
Like she recognizes the names.
I'll say, I have the feeling you already know my name.
Oh, mysterious. Can't even give a name. It's too important to give his name.
Maybe. What is it?
I want to insight this woman.
Roll it.
What's she trying to do to us?
The name's Sam Diamond, sweetie.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
Let's go Ravenloft!
What'd you get?
Fuck you, Ravenloft.
That good of a start, huh? What'd you get?
I rolled a nat 1.
Popping off.
Oh my gosh.
Wildly surprised because your names are super cool.
I'll buy that for $1.
God.
Probably the accent and maybe the Starlight comment. You're pretty convinced.
My name is Varric.
Ah, yes, and you must be
No.
Rigzuckus? Zuckus?
This bag of flesh has only essence, no name.
Interesting.
I don't know. She seems to think her name is like the Zuckerberg or something.
All right.
Rigby.
Come
we
in,
need to
come
call
in. I
you
can't believe it actually
something.
happened. He's always right, and I never believe it. Shit.
What?
Come in, hurry up. It's getting dark. I'm
Who's this
Yennefer.
woman speaking
But-
of?
Who? Yeah.
Yennefer Foxgrove. Let's go. In the house.
Calamina enters.
Jiglin will also enter.
Yeah, sure.
Follow Jiggly.
Derek?
Yeah, I'll kind of step in the doorway, look back out, kind of, one last scan.
Come on, you're letting
You-
the misery out. Get in here.
As you turn around, the sun sets. The last ray goes over the horizon. The gold star is brighter, but still there. And you immediately hear a keening wail come from off to the west, and then the north. And then it's a chorus, and you see the ground explode about 20 yards away, and something's crawling out. You're like, oh! And you go in, and she slams the door shut, drops a heavy bar over it. Welcome to Darkon.
Oh, they are not too active tonight. That's good.
Really, I thought that maybe that there were other guests, but I suppose not.
Can't believe you're here.
Good.
Erasmus!
She'll just
They actually
look-
came!
She'll just
God damn it,
look at
Erasmus!
Who is this Erasmus?
He'll be here in a minute.
Erasers got it.
And then
What?
from right next to you, Jeglin, Ghost floats through the wall and says hi to you.
Pull up my holy symbol, just go, ah!
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. I forget when I'm home that people are surprised by such things. My apologies. He has an accent much like yours, Varric. I'm not even going to try German, but that's what it is.
I've seen stranger things.
Calmina's going to try to pass a hand through him.
It works. He just
She's
kind of
surprised.
chuckles at you. He looks in appearance like a thoughtful, art-loving teenager with pale-skinned blonde hair. He's dressed like a scholar, not like a warrior like her at all. and he has very prominent vampire bite marks on his neck.
So I take it you died.
Twice. Kind of imagine that. Could always be worse. You could always say, at least I didn't die twice like Erasmus.
And how do you die twice?
First, I got turned into a vampire, and then my dad had to stake me because I was a vampire.
Oh, what a very caring father.
And
How
how
He
did
did
you
you
doesn't, he
become-
doesn't see it that way.
How did you become a ghost?
Father still needs me. I can't pass on until our work is done.
What are you working on?
This makes Yennefer look sad.
Do you remember anything of the beyond the choice you were given to become a ghost?
No, not really.
And all interest Rigzukos had just briefly shown, finally gone out the window, doesn't care anymore.
No.
You're rather high-spirited for a one who's
Spirit.
dead.
Always look on the bright side, I say. Get it
Spirited.
right? Because I'm a ghost.
That was not the joke I was going for, but yes.
Does the spirits have any spirits, by the way? Maybe in like a little liquor cabin, I could really use something.
Yes, Yennefer.
So,
Have them bring them to the study.
we seem to be expected.
My father always seems to know when weird things are going to happen.
I'm a weird thing.
Unfortunately, he's not here, so we'll let
May
you
I-
know everything we know. But come to the study. We'll bring you refreshments.
May I ask who your father is?
Yes, Rudolph. Rudolph van Richten.
Rudy.
Ah,
Right.
You know that name, Varric.
yes.
Everyone in your profession and yours, Claudia, knows that name.
Van Richten?
Yes.
Girl.
I'm sorry, you are son of, Rudolf van Richten,
I was in life, yes.
who is expecting us.
He left notes behind when he went on his most recent expedition, from which he's 3 weeks overdue. But it's fine. It's always fine. That you would
No,
probably be
he's-
arriving with your names.
He's probably dead. I hate to
And,
tell you this, but
That's what people
Ru-
think every time, but he never is.
And Rudolf van Richten's study is this way?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Beelines.
I'm following Claudia as well.
you might want to watch Claudia. She might have sticky fingers. You said books. She got excited. You might want to take some inventory.
You're all escorted into the study where a cheery fire is going, and yeah, it is loaded with shelves of books. And there's a spiral staircase because you're in the tower, and you look up and you can see there's other levels to the tower that aren't books. They're just display case after display case after display case of trinkets and artifacts and clearly magical items.
Claudia is like gluing herself to the bookcase and just like, look at all the titles. Like she'll probably like take.
Got a
them
whole
down
shelf
and,
for
like,
his. He's
flip
got a whole
through it
shelf for
and-
his own books collection. Van Richten's Guide to Insert Monster here. There's like 30 of them.
Nice.
They
Mental
bring
note
you.
to-
They bring you fresh warm brandy and cheese and bread.
Will you be needing us for anything this evening?
Yes. You must know why you're here.
I assume it has to do with the missing Van Richten.
Oh no, he's just on an expedition. This happens a lot. Heavy sigh from Yennefer when Erasmus says that. She plops down in his chair at his desk and kicks her boots up on it.
So have you named all your knives?
Most of them.
Excellent, because you know you should never use a knife without naming it first. It will turn on its owner.
These two are my favorite. Fuck and off.
Excellent names.
Erasmus shows you the letter Van Richten had written to them in Barovian. If I am not back by the time all of your names appear, I had a prognostication about them. Also, by the way, the entire letter is reference to Yennefer, and if you glance around the study, I won't make you roll. There's no reference to Erasmus. It's all Yennefer this, Yennefer that for his notes that he leaves for whoever's taking care of his house. If they do arrive, please tell them the cards have spoken. Madame Eva has already read their fates. There is a task set before them. There's no use trying to avoid it, because the land itself will push them towards it.
Madame Eva.
Yennefer says, a Vistani seer, the oldest of their kind. She was old when my uncle was young.
So,
Henrik in his 60s.
around the time of the dinosaurs, got it. Perfect.
You've all heard of the Vistani. Travelers wanderers of the mist who travel from land to land, place to place. Very good at entertaining people, providing prognostications and fortunes, like accurate ones. And also traders. They bring exotic goods in that don't exist anywhere else and trade for your things and then take them back to wherever they come from.
They travel rather freely as well, don't they?
Yes, also fierce warriors, noble and honorable people, trustworthy. They have a good reputation, or people either think we can trust them or are terrified of them, or both. The terrified part is because they can come and go freely in a land where no one else can.
I'm a little jealous. Even I don't get to choose where the mist take me.
Getting this information to Varys is kind of be like, okay, so what's the job?
It would appear that the former king of this land, who has disappeared due to the foul sorceries he enacted that made that, points to the ceiling, you know he's talking about the golden star, what else would it be, appear in the sky, had sent all of his servants out far and wide looking for 4 tomes. He has disappeared, but his servants are still hunting the tomes. Take his power, bring him back. No one knows, but it can't happen. And you are fated to find at least one of those tomes. If you find them all, bring them here, and hopefully my uncle will have returned, because he says he knows how to dispose of or destroy them, because mundane means like fire or rot won't do it.
And if he doesn't return?
Erasmus starts to talk. Yennefer interrupts and says, well, then we're pretty boned.
So we only
these
need
tomes.
Wrong. It is miserable here. It was worse when Aslan was alive. Not alive, around, active.
I agree. He was an asshole. At least the people vying for power are busy trying to kill each other and not us anymore.
You said we only need one of these tomes.
You're fated to find at least one. Some of you are fated to find all 4. Not all of you will make it. Yennefer! Jesus!
Tell us more of these tomes.
This is the way of this land. She's fine.
The Sarcoula Shards. The Xanthune Tablets. I'll put that in Discord. The Pale Stone Analects. And finally, the Befouled Book of Benar.
Did you say Book of the Nards?
This makes Erasmus laugh.
What?
Yennefer just looks at you and says, no, I said Benar.
Benar. Got it. Thank you.
Get you what you need. So, the Sarcoula Shards are a set of 14 rune-carved crystal shards, deep red in color, as hard as diamond, each over a foot long and etched with horrible script. I'm going to drop that too for the note taker as we go. They called them tomes, but not all tomes. Vellum or parchment. The Xanthune tablets are actual tablets. For those, I actually have a picture. I have to give you a description. There you go. The Pale Stone Analects is actually a book, an unholy text. And the Befouled Book of Benar is also a text. Both of which are, of course, stereotypically large, bound in leather that's curious color and texture, with interesting red ink on the pages. You know.
Yes, ink.
Massively oversized with metal locks and magical protections. The catch is, the Befouled Book of Benar cannot be touched by anyone who does not wish to be extremely corrupted by the land, or is already corrupt, unless you have all of the other three and have decoded them for the necessary ritual to bind the last book so you can safely transport it. Also, they know where two of the books are. The Sarcoula Shards and the Befouled Book. The Befouled Book is in the library.
Hold on.
Castle Ravenloft.
Who's they?
Erasmus and Yennefer.
Oh, I thought
Okay.
they were saying they know.
Yeah, I thought
No, I moved out
I-
of character to just give
I
the players
apologize.
information. Sorry.
Okay.
I was going to ask the same thing. I was like,
Does-
wait, so the servants know where it is, or?
Okay.
The Befouled Book is in Castle Ravenloft's library. So of course it is.
I assume we
sounds-
all know that pretty... Is that... A...
Castle Ravenloft is a thing everyone has heard of, but most of you have never seen. Yes.
But we
Like
know the
you
rumors
don't
and-
think you don't all look at Steve's background and go, yeah, that's it. You all like that word. I don't know why I know that word, but I do, and it makes me feel scared. Like that's what it is.
Okay.
Well,
This-
yeah, they're telling us right now this book is in the library of Castle.
Right, but
I-
you
I-
don't have to be told what Castle Ravenloft is. It's like a primal fear, like ingrained in your DNA. Like
Yeah, I
run
wasn't-
from tigers.
I wasn't sure how much we know about Castle Ravenloft, like, inherently, so...
It's
okay.
like you've never seen a tiger before, but the first time you see one, you know to fucking run. It's like that.
It sounds like a lot of work.
Now, Varric and Claudia, you've probably actually read snippets of it. It's a different land ruled by a terrifying monster of some kind.
I feel like of the any like we're not friendly so far, but like when I hear Ravenloft, I look to Claudia and I'm just kind of like raise an eyebrow, like, what?
They don't know where the second and the tablets or the Analects are, but the shards are located right here in Darkon, which is why the mists brought you here. I'm sure you were all, and Erasmus says he is sure you were all gifted some kind of token to guide you, whether you know it or not. The shards are in what remains Castle Avernus, former home to Aslan the Lich.
Do they share this information with us?
Yes, this is all information they're sharing with you.
Okay. Can you repeat where it's located again?
Castle Avernus, Aslan's home. Well, before he disappeared.
Is it
Sure, it's
like-
safe now with the Lich gone, right?
So the castle is actually called Avernus?
Everness.
Yeah.
Is it Avernus?
And no, but the name is ripped from that.
Okay.
Like he called it that because it's Castle Hell. Get it?
Because it's
See
fucking
what he did there?
metal as shit. Okay.
Right, yeah.
All right.
What was the Lich's name that used to live there?
Azalin Rex.
You spell that?
Azalin Rex. Rex.
Ooh.
Do we
So-
have to cross the mist to get to any of these places?
All of them. Which
How
means
do
you
we-
will need guides, and for guides you will need like the trinkets you have, whether you know you have them or not. So first, hopefully the shards will tell you where the next is, and then the next, and then the next, as they inexorably try to pull you towards corruption. My uncle thought you were strong enough to resist, apparently, or Madame Eva did, I suppose.
We're resisting the books, but we have to find the books.
You're resisting the influence of the books, yes.
Ah. Yeah, it's a book. It can't tell me anything that will make me do something.
They both give you very serious looks and say, some books can.
Ah. Like
And
the
how do- how do we go about resisting these? What other tools can you give us aside luck?
We don't know what it will take to resist them, and we're sorry for that in advance. I'm sure it will be arduous and terrible. Most things my uncle sends us to do are, says Yennefer. However, we can offer you whatever aid the house contains. And she points up at those 3 floors of magic items and says, take what you need.
You said that the books are going to be used to bring back.
Yes, you will have to. You will have to read them and learn their secrets.
But you said that the books are being sought after to bring back Aslan?
We don't know. That's one possible motivation.
So we just know. So you only know that we're supposed to go after these books, not their purpose, their function.
Do not let his people find them. That is correct.
Who?
Do we?
Aslan's people.
Yes.
Okay.
He's gone, but his lieutenants, his commanders are not.
Understood.
Do we know what language that these books are in?
Whatever languages they're written in are blasphemous and dead.
Oh, so we have to decipher dead blasphemous language.
Correct.
That
Sounds
should not
fun.
be a problem.
Is there by any chance a way that you know that we can do this for sure?
Yes.
You can come back here anytime and use my uncle's library.
I'm confident we can decipher the books.
There is an even larger library in the nearby city as well. You'll want to travel there anyways because that's your best bet in finding trinkets that will help guide you through the mists.
I never have been guided through the mists. I only have been dragged through the mist, kicking and screaming and being chased by the unsealed.
Well, hopefully Rivalis will change that for you.
That would
That's
be
the name of
great.
the city.
Who, other than lieutenants and general bad guys, who, might also be looking for these books?
Mad Seekers of Forbidden Knowledge. That's from Erasmus. Yennefer looks at Calamina. Gets up, comes around. May I? Reaches towards you, Calamina.
Yes, she says hesitantly.
Moves your hair to the side. And you can all see there's a scoop of flesh, ice cream scoop size, missing from behind her ear. It's filled in, but it's just like a dent. And you
How
know
did
that's
you
there,
lose
Calamina.
a piece of you? You not
Calamina?
notice?
I notice. I feel it every day. Can you see this?
There's a
Yeah.
big dent in your
No,
noggin.
not the dent. Do you see the creature attached to my head? Can you see it?
Mhm.
Yennefer looks at you sadly and says, I understand your pain, and I can guarantee those who once tried to own you will be after these books as well. Perhaps you'll be able to find some measure of revenge.
Then we should not waste any time. We should go now.
I will help you destroy the invisible noggin chunkers.
We can't go now because of all the vampires, but in the morning.
Fine.
I mean, what's a few vampires?
Now, before we leave, you say
Not
that
the
we
few
need...
vampires you need to worry about, my dear. It's the thousands of zombies. Yes, Sheglin.
Oh, I forgot.
You said that we need to find trinkets to help us traverse the mists. Will this coin not help us?
Coin, show me.
Pulls out the coin with the...
Points at the face. That's Aslan. That coin brought you here. It's not going to help you go elsewhere.
So I can sell mine. I thought I was the only one that had it.
To look at you like, sell a coin? You spend coins. Why would you
Well,
sell a coin?
I did not recognize the coin. I thought maybe it was a piece of gold of decoration. I don't know.
It is a coin of our realm.
Your realm has ugly coins.
Yes. Yes, yes, we do.
Okay. Alright.
And an ugly king.
Everything on the table. I was a little hesitant at first. I didn't know who any of you were. I apologize if I came across
We
the
still
wrong
don't
way.
know who you are because you didn't say shit.
Yeah. I'm apologizing for that. I've already said my name. Firik. I'm from Lemuria. I said we put all of our information on the table. Obviously, we're not getting away from this or each other, so we got to work together whether we like it or not. Clank, and I put the full metal bar on the table.
Jeez, I get a coin, you get the whole bar?
You know.
Electrum. We don't see that much. That means nothing to any of you except Claudia, who's like, it's worth so much money. It's a bar of Electrum.
Didn't tell us you were rich.
In your realm, it's conductive. That's its value.
I was gonna say it just sits around. You have that
Don't
by the
get
butt.
hit by lightning.
Yeah, no, I'm not being brought back from the dead. I don't need to be hit by lightning.
Slow blink from Yennefer. Huh.
That stuff sits around in buckets where I'm from. Something about
Yeah.
that bar called out to me, snatched it, went in the fog.
Huh. We
Yes,
should,
this one was minted here. Very rare here.
set up trade maybe. I have
I would highly advise against that.
like goes through pockets, lifts up. I have thread, helps you navigate when I'm underground. Never runs out, which is useful.
Oh, I can navigate up here on the earth where people are supposed to be.
My job is to find people where they're not supposed to be and stop.
Oh,
Most people spend their lives underground where I'm from too.
I can see why with your face. What, you look like you're grumpy all the time, so...
I thought I was putting on my happy face.
If that's your happy face, I'll be terrified when you crack a smile.
Just dead stare.
And with that, they usher you upstairs. But we'll have to wait to loot till next week.
Aww.
Next week.
A whole week to loot the
Yeah.
magic treasury, yes.
Can I
Yeah.
announce that I'm going to be using one of my special super duper Vorpal Tales abilities?
Music change, it got loud. Yes, you can.
It's very loud. Hold on, audience. I'm correcting the music now. There you go. So before next week, I'm going to use Knowledge is Power. I will be spending at least 3 hours in this library to gain knowledge of 3 undead creatures, including their AC, damage resistance, damage immunities, and damage vulnerabilities, if they have any of those.
That won't be a problem in this library. And there's lots of good magic loot too, so you have to be excited for a whole week. However, for now, we must apologize, dear guests, but there's a storm blowing in and the mists encroach upon us. We must allow these brave forlorn souls a chance at respite. Let us return to the manor where the guest rooms are prepared, and you will be well looked after as you rest. Our party will rise from their resting places next week, and they are once again ensnared by this terrifying tale. I thank you for venturing forth with us into the domains of dread and hope you will survive the night and join us again next time. If you would be so kind as to click follow on Twitch as well as subscribing on YouTube, we would be most grateful. Special thanks tonight to our Patreons and Twitch subscribers. You help make our quality better, our cosplay sharper, and help us feed all of our cats and dogs. There are many. Many thanks also to Astral Tabletop, which we use for our virtual gaming space. To Nate Mid for our custom character sheets. To Ghost Stories Incorporated, Miu and Darren Curtis for some of the awesome music you heard during this tale. On to Heroes, favor our victim guests with your name and in what domains they may find you between now and next week.
I am Dwayne, head made of kimchi, playing Jeglin, the cleric tonight. Next time you guys can see me will be tomorrow in the domain of Necrobiotic, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hey everybody, I've enjoyed playing Tav. That accent's really hard to get out of, actually. I love
Real good, though.
I do it randomly around my house just because.
They were using it on the break.
You can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever, and you can find me playing Sunday as Billy. But sadly, I forgot to bring my wig with me, so you're gonna have to deal with my regular hair. I'm so sad. I might steal
Also-
a Malthoon's hair. We'll see.
Also, thanks for the follow, Wolfware88. Cool name.
Hello everybody, I am Steve. Tonight I played Virik Wagner, and you can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade, and the next time you'll find me will be Sunday as well for Starlight and Smoke. But I also do want to shout out that on Tuesday, tune in to the Onyx Path channel, where Patty Shakes will continue to run us through Exalted Essence awesomeness for the Onyx Path Kickstarter. It's gonna be rad.
Hey guys, my name's Akima. You can catch me here next week, being spooky and creepy with this wonderful tentacle spooky girl. You can find me on the interwebs at Kima_Mia. But until next time.
Hey, my name is Rachel. I am Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, including here where I stream Mass Effect mostly in the evening when I feel like it. And then you can find me officially. I will be running Starlight and Smoke Sunday night here. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And then Monday for Doom with Eric, who's amazing. I can't wait for that game. And then I do Changeling on Onyx Path on Thursdays, and I'm over at Plastic Age Plays on Wednesdays. We're doing Extreme Drowless Season 2. I am a Drow Paladin who told Wolf to go fuck herself and somehow survived. Now we're fighting either Mind Flayers or gods, probably both. It's going to be bad.
Why not both?
All right. My name is Patrick. I'm on the internet at PattyShakes_. Tonight played Rigzukos, the reborn Elementalist. Next time you'll see me will be Tuesday for the Exalted Essence Kickstarter over the Onyx Path channel. Come check it out. We're having Dixie Cyanide will be our guest, so come check it out. It's awesome. It's a version of Exalted that's meant for brand new story runners to run, which is what I am. So if you want to see if it actually works, come check it out.
And I am Elogeckos Online, and if you like the dark fantasy vibe, come check out Simba Room tomorrow, Session 0, and the Free League Twitch channel, where I will be leading the show there too. But now, it's time for the Ride or Die viewers to help and watch us vote. Viewers can vote for any one player each session. Viewers, your votes can be used to add the player's proficiency bonus to any roll after they see the roll, but before I declare the result. So, +4 in this case, soon to be +5. Players, your votes for each other are worth 1 automatic success to death save, or 1 free hit die for use during rest periods, or 1 free recharge spell slot during said rest periods. Your choice.
Oh,
Begin.
I have to go first. I enjoy things all tentacly and creepy. And the fact that you had a friend that I didn't get to see makes me sad. Akima, you get my vote.
In peace, Otto.
My God, it's Evil Otto. Oh no. I'm gonna give mine to Rachel for the awesome eye patch and the awesome hat, which I thoroughly praised before the stream, but now I am proving the praise with an offering of votage.
I am gonna give mine. Oh man, it's so hard. I'm gonna give mine to Patty actually, cause I I really like you're going with the. This is just but like a flesh barrier. I am this creature of essence. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes. So I was excited when you did that. So.
All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to give this one to Ever because I don't know. I just love the cute characters you make. God damn it! Stop doing this to my heart. So please take this and enjoy. May it save your life someday.
Thank you.
I want to give mine to Steve for really playing up the detective bit and like being super suspicious and asking questions about everything.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give mine to Rachel for looking like a badass.
Thank you.
Excellent choices, all. Audience, we will continue to tally your votes while the reel runs until it stops. But for now, we must bid you farewell, cherished guests, but only for a short while, as soon you and we will rise again. Until then, sleep soundly.